Hey man, so we on it, man. Choose to Create podcast episode. Where we at?
I don't know.
19.
You tell me, man. 19?
Yeah,
That's a
episode
feat right there.
19, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
19 episodes in like a month or less.
yeah, probably a month.
That's the king of execution right there.
Nah, man, it was just for me. It was like just connecting with people that inspire me. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like hopping on the internet or whatever, reaching out like that, I just figure I reach out to the people I know, the people I've worked with throughout the years. Some of my mentors, some of the people I've worked with. You know what I mean? So um, it was easy, and just getting that feedback and that love from everybody to come out and spend that time, jump on the podcast, and just chop it up with your boy.
Yeah,
That's big, you know.
100%. What made you want to start the podcast?
It's an extension of the actual Choose to Create meetup.
Uh,
You know what I mean? So the Choose to Create meetup is something we do every month, so that way creatives got that time to like connect with each other, right? Because as creatives, a lot of times we spend a lot of time alone, right?
100%.
And in your own zone, we get so busy we barely have time to meet up. So I figure that we have at least one time where we could meet up and recharge. You feel what I'm saying? You get to meet up with other creators. You guys get to talk that creative talk about those new lenses that came out. You know, talk about that new sales system you got. You know, talk about the new CRM you just got.
Right.
You know, like you're able to talk creative talking as well as like business talking. You know, just everything and even collaborating. You know,
Right.
so I just figured that we do that in this same platform. You know what I mean? On a podcast level where we get to chop it up with other
Right.
creative professionals and entrepreneurs and kind of get that real true story of like idea to conception. You know?
Right. That's what's up. I mean, this is exactly what this is a collaboration,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and we're here talking about our business, the creative aspects of our business, the work, the gear, the lifestyle, everything. So honestly, it's awesome. I think this is a great avenue to go into for Choose to Create.
Nah, 100%, man. So I appreciate you being on the podcast with me.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you bringing me on.
100%, man. So just a little introduction about like what you do. I mean, I know I've met you in Arizona. We was doing a mastermind together. But just kind of like a background on your business and you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. So my name's Ary Lezcano, and I own the company Extreme Visual Solutions, which is a video agency focused on sports, videography, action. Um, should we wait for that, or should you just roll over it?
Oh yeah, you good.
Okay, we're rolling over it. All right,
We're
cool.
rolling.
So, yeah, mainly focused on action sports. I'm going into cars now because that's kind of like the the niche that I'm trying to dive into. Graduated from Full Sail with a bachelor's in film, and moved back to South Florida about 3 or 4 years ago. And yeah, that's like the short version of kind of who I am, what I do.
Yeah, nah, that's dope, man. And you went to Full Sail.
Yep.
That's big. I went to the Art Institute.
Okay. Yeah.
So then when I was deciding what film school to go to, I was going between the Art Institute and Full Sail.
Same.
And I was like, I was thinking about Full Sail, but I'm like, it's in Orlando. It's like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do in Orlando.
Yeah.
And then Art Institute had art institutes all over.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? They had art institutes in Atlanta, D.C., Baltimore, New York. So I was like, maybe I'll go to New York. Maybe I'll go to D.C. But I was like, I wanted to go somewhere where it was fun. It was a city.
Yeah.
And close to the crib still.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So-
Well, you went to Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah.
Art Institute.
That's what's up. I was excited to go to Orlando when I was graduating high school. Everybody's going to Orlando for my school, so it was like,
Okay.
it was like the thing. So I was just kind of lucky that my school happened to be in Orlando, because at the same time, like I also wanted to like, live that like college party lifestyle and shit. So
Yeah.
I knew UCF was like one of those schools. So it was kind of like a double whammy. But I mean, what do you think about film school?
Oh,
What's your take on film school? Like, do you think it's necessary? Do you not think it's necessary?
I don't think it's necessary right now, especially if you like listening to this podcast and getting in anything that like as far as getting a mentor or getting business coaches. Like, I feel like that has sped up my process as far as like film school. Film school, and even if I wanted to go the traditional route as far as like doing production, you know, there's many ways of getting on set as a PA and then working your way up. You know, film school don't have anything to do with that. That's just like grind
100%.
and persistence. You know what I mean? Putting yourself in that right position and putting in the work. So like, I mean, film school was good for like training my mind and getting my creative juices going.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting
Like
my
learning the
creativity.
lingo, like getting used to like talking to other creatives,
Yeah.
like kind of being in that environment. I feel the same way towards film school. I mean,
Network was
yeah,
really
exactly.
good.
Yeah.
Just
Networking.
learning.
I mean,
yeah.
I will say that my one of my accomplishments, one of my first feature films that I worked on was because I knew someone from film school.
Yeah.
It took like 2 or 3 years to like, come into fruition, right? But because I went to film school with him, because I was friends with him, it allowed me to get the job.
Yeah.
So there's, your pros and cons, but overall I would say like it's just overvalued. You know what I mean? It's like should film school cost like $80,000? Like no. Like it shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's that. But
No, 100%. Oh, appreciate you.
that's what's up.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you were ordering a latte from the
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool. I got you.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if you wanted a latte.
Now I get it.
Yeah. You still want
Yeah,
one?
no. I just forgot that you could order shit from there.
Yeah, man. Lattes is
Shout out to GP. We're out here
GP,
filming
making sure
in the I don't know what section of this. Well, this is the Fab Village actually.
Yeah.
Fab Village downtown is over there, but our office is right
Right behind us. So we just might as well film exactly where we at, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of great ideas was built here. A lot of stuff, collaborations between me and you was built here. And like even like how we was talking about film school, I feel like film school was great for lessons, but if I wouldn't have went to film school if I it was worth it, yeah, for sure. But like now with like the people that collaborate with us, that's like first class film school.
It's better than first class. It's like,
You know what I mean?
I mean, not only are you getting paid to learn, you're working with people that are actually teaching you something. I mean, at least at True Secret, working with me, working with RJ, working with the people that are part of our group. You get a shot to work with us on a set, and like you're in good hands. I mean, not only are we gonna bring you on, pay you, teach you the way, we're gonna keep you around as long as you want to work and as long as you're in the same grind level as we are, which not everybody is. Not everybody's on the same ground level. There's days where we're here on a Saturday night. We're here on a Friday till 11 o'clock when we have to be up the next day on a gig. But we stay here because we're engaged in the conversation and we understand the value in that. And a lot of people don't understand the value in that. So
yeah, nah, for sure, man. Like I had to explain that to a couple of parents. That same thing what you just explained was like, because our youngest content creator right now is 16.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and she's still in high school. And then our next youngest is 17,
Okay.
and he's still in high school.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So like when I was introducing him to go to an event with me to like actually shoot it,
Right.
I'll be there like throughout the whole entire process as far as like being with him at the event, helping him set up, doing all the introductions, because we always show up like 30 minutes to an hour ahead so we can do introductions, scope out the location, and then, taking the images, taking them through the types of images to, get this type of event.
Yeah, like prepping them.
He'll be doing taking all the pictures, but like, and then doing the post-production, because the workflow afterwards is like super important, because that turnaround time is key. That's what we're known for, turnaround times.
Right.
1 to 3 days, you getting your photos. You know what I mean? That's something that is like, that's what we do.
Yep.
So, so kind of like doing that type of thing. And his mom was like, "Oh, I gotta talk to whoever." You know, she
Yeah.
dropped on the phone like, "Who you is? Where you sending my son?" I'm like, "Excuse you, man. We're an agency down in Fort Lauderdale. You know, we work with a lot of different cities.
Right.
We do a lot of work with different marketing agencies, and we create content for them. So this was like one of his first jobs that he would have been working with us on. You know, you start small, and then you know, but you still gotta at least, you know, 16, 17. Yeah, they want to start earning some bread.
Of course.
You know, and
Absolutely.
what better way to do it in a creative
Yeah, I mean, being in high school and already getting an opportunity into the creative field, you know, whatever it is, could be graphic design, could be video, photo, anything creative in high school. I mean, I would have killed for that. I would have killed for it. Yeah, those opportunities don't come every day. So, but that's cool, man. So, what did she say to you? Did she? She was just kind of like, oh, yada yada yada.
I had to give her. I had to drop some names. I had to give her some names. Like, yeah, I worked with a couple of worked on a couple of campaigns.
Okay.
Did a couple of images and videos for all of their campaigns of these different Florida State attorney. I did that whole campaign. You know, state representative, such and such. I did that campaign. You know, this city, that city. I've worked for. We work with this agency, that agency. Had to do some name dropping and had to let her know that, okay, key people that's in the community that she probably respects, we've worked with and done work for.
Okay.
You know, so after I clarified that first, and she's like, oh yeah, definitely, and why I was working with him because he's in high school, but got to give him opportunity. You know what I mean? That's the reason why we work so hard to be able to do what we're doing now and get those opportunities. Yeah, absolutely. He may not be the first photographer, but he'll be having the opportunity to be there. You know, and shadow us and assist, and like that's firsthand. Like
that's gold. Yeah,
film school.
Yeah,
and you're getting paid for it.
Exactly. On top of that, so it's like, I mean, I just made a TikTok. Sorry, I made an IG reel. And it got a decent traction, but it was basically about collaborating with other creatives and how valuable that is. And the premise is like creatives are not your competition. So like don't look at other creatives as your competition. Look at them as a way to gain more experience and grow, grow your network. So, you know, when I first got into this career, it was like, or this industry, I always wanted to collaborate. You know, I understood that from very early on just because I like collaborating with other people. So it came second nature to me. But I think, you know, not everyone, but there's some people out there that they have the scarce mindset where it's like there's not enough work. It's a saturated market. Like those are all limiting beliefs. Like there's not a finite amount of work. There's not a scarce amount of money out there. Like everybody's working on different, you know, niches. Like you're working on one thing, I'm working on the other thing. And even if you're working in the same field, like it doesn't mean you can't work together. You can be strategic partners. Like, and that mindset's what's going to allow you to grow. So,
nah, and that's key. Like even what you said, be strategic partners. You know, that's a big thing. You know, being strategic partners.
Yeah,
Google that.
Google that. Yeah, exactly. And it was funny because like
it's real. Like not just okay, I'm gonna choose this part. Like okay, he's strong at this part.
Right.
Like I know that you're really great at directing, and even cinematography.
Right.
You're really great at editing too.
Yeah.
But my choice is I'm gonna be like, yo, if it's something where I need a DP or a director.
Right.
I know like okay, this is like, you know,
100%.
This is who I'm gonna go for.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same way with me is like operations and just making sure things are being done.
Yeah.
On time.
Execution.
Yeah.
Creative strategist, brand strategist. You know, you want somebody to freaking just dive deep into your brand and figure out what the hell the problem is or what you need to be done. Like this is the guy. This is the guy that's gonna ask you the hard questions that you might not want to answer, but at the end of the day, it's like you're going to respect them for it because no one else is asking those questions. Like, what are your goals? Like, how much you want to make next year? Like, all those questions. Like, yeah, it's simple. Like, yeah, you just ask the question, but it's not as easy as you may think, because those are all personal questions, and people don't want to pry for information. But it's not about prying information. It's about connecting and trying to truly serve and help somebody. So,
When did you feel like you started noticing that was like an important part of production? Because like I remember, like for me, like in my earliest days, I would just get a call and I'd be like, when and where,
right.
just how much,
Yeah.
and just kind of like just go. Like, when did like your
Yeah, when
your
was my
process
moment of realization that, like, holy
change
crap?
to like, okay, let me ask a couple of questions before booking?
I mean, honestly, it was like probably like the earliest was probably coming in here to GP and working with you and Raul, and kind of seeing your guys' method behind what you guys were doing. I have I heard about it. I heard about the Discovery Forum and I read about it, but I didn't really truly understand the value in it until I saw you guys doing it in practice. I heard you on the phone asking the questions. I saw it in real time, and then I saw the result from it. I saw that, like, you were closing deals, and all these things were happening and the ball was moving. And I was like, holy shit, like, this actually is very important. Like, I'm a person that I need to see it to believe it type of thing. So it's like, I guess because I never truly saw it in live in action in person, it was like, oh yeah, that's important, but it's not why I'm getting hired, which is a problem. That's like, you shouldn't think like that. Like, as a filmmaker, as a creative, you want to tell yourself, oh yeah, I'm only getting hired because I'm really good at what I do. And that is part of it, but it's not the only reason why you get hired. The reason why you get hired time and time after again is because you show value. How do you do that? By asking the right questions, connecting with the right people, and showing the person that you're talking to that you can actually solve their problem. And that is by diving deep into someone's brand, which is what I saw you do. So to answer your question, as soon as I got here, and then with Mitch, of course, Mitch was like the final stepping stone.
Yeah.
It was like, here's what you have to do. Okay, cool. I'm seeing it. I'm kind of trying it. And then Mitch came and like solidified the fucking method. He was like, here you go.
Yeah. And that's what it is, though. That's like us, like, because like I started doing that from coaches. Like, my first coach was Paul Xavier, Next Level Creators. And then my second coach was Chris Doe, from The Future.
Yep.
So I got courses with them. And then the third one was, you know this guy, the young dude,
Justin Sides. Shout out to Justin Sides.
Yeah. So like each one kind of like edified me. That, it started making more sense, and I start practicing. And then more I start practicing, I was like, yo, it actually works. And it helps you even get clear on your vision.
Yeah.
And how you're actually helping the client, and then actually explaining it to them. Like, yo, this is how you can use it, because I understand you may not even have used video before. So we're not only going to create a video for you, but this is where you want to use this video in your funnel. Like, it's for your website, but this smaller version could be used for, advertising,
Right. In different videos are different purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you showing that on paper and in person or on a Zoom call to the client or to the prospect is going to allow you to be able to charge more, because that's adding more value to you. When you're coming in as, a very knowledgeable person in your space and you demonstrate that over a call, right? That's when you're able to charge, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're just coming in as a videographer like we did in the beginning, where it was like, we would get a call and it was like, hey, I need you here at this time. Just bring your camera. And you just say, yes, okay, I'll be there. I mean, how much value are you really giving them?
Yeah. And like, for me, like, one of the main things that made me like add certain steps into my whole process was getting the phone call, doing the work, delivering it, and a client not being satisfied. So that means the vision that, like, it was a misunderstanding. Like, the vision that what their expectation was and what I envisioned that they wanted was different. So I was like, I just took that as a way of how can I create and make steps to make sure that we're both on the same page.
Right.
You know, before moving forward into production and then getting into post production, and it's like, oh, this is totally not
Right.
what I was expecting to get. You know.
Yeah. And how how does that look like? How does that look like, or what does that look like? Better said.
Well, it looks
How do you
like
get really clear with your prospect or client?
video reference and shot list,
Okay.
like visual shots,
Mm-hmm.
storyboard.
Gotcha.
That they could visually see. You could write out a shot list as well, like written out. Okay, lower, mid shot from exteriors. You could write that out in like filmmakers terms,
Yeah.
but they're not filmmakers.
They're not going to understand.
So
Yeah.
the main thing they could understand is a video reference, a summary behind that video reference of like what you're going to be going
Right.
for and why you're going to be using that. And then storyboard shots, like where it just shows like the types of shots,
Right.
the mood.
Yeah, that's key. Honestly, I don't even think I've ever truly delved that deep into like getting clear on the vision of the project. So
I like doing that with photo shoots have helped me a lot. Like
Yeah.
just hopping on the phone and going on Google while I'm on Zoom with them, and going and searching like, okay, what kind of background do you see for this family picture,
Right.
for this business headshots, like, and going on Google and just, okay, which ones do you like? This one, and just putting in a folder of
Yeah.
all the ones that they like. You know what I mean? And just at least we have some type of like steps on like, okay, this is the shots that you do like, and I could then add my own flavor
Yeah.
around, but I have a anchor of
Right.
like, okay, this is the look that she's going for, and then I could kind of pivot off that.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, that's super important. And kind of just blanked on what I was going to say, but basically, what I've been thinking of asking you for the podcast is because I think there's some viewers out there that aren't 100% on maybe hiring a coach. They're not 100% confident in a mentor because the space can be, can be scammy. There's a lot of coaches out there that offer one thing, but they really, they don't deliver. How important do you think having a business coach or a mentor for filmmakers is?
I think it's extremely important. I would advise probably getting a coach from somebody that's had that coach. I usually get coaches through word of mouth or someone that I actually met, or somebody that I've got word of mouth from, or I've already been reading their books. I've already been listening to their podcasts. Now the next step is just for me to get their online course and then probably get coaching from them, right? It's somebody that's already been giving me value. So I don't just go in and just grab a random coach. Like my first coach was recommended to me from another filmmaker, and he is telling me like, yo, this is for real. I'm like, where? Like a business coach? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay. And from that first decision to do that, it's changed everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like literally. So some of the things that I was able to learn is the process of a sales process, the importance of having a sales process. That was like one of the major things just from having a coach. I never had a sales process before. You feel what I'm saying? A structure sales process, you feel me? And then another thing that my coach taught me was basically understanding the whole entire system of a business.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like those basic things was like, and it was a lot more. It was a lot more.
You created a business.
Yeah,
It helped you create a business.
Exactly. So a business coach is definitely going to be helping you with
things
that you're not looking at. You feel
the reason why I asked this question is because I remember, when I first got into this world, I'll be honest, I didn't really know what a business coach was. I just heard about it like very vaguely, kind of like loosely. I also heard about online coaches, but again, like the space seems so scammy that it was just kind of like, well, that's probably a waste of money. That's probably a scam. Like that probably doesn't work. But I've met a few people along my journey to where I am today. Just to name a few: RJ, Icon, a few other people. But mainly, these two people like influenced me into going into, you know, the coaching space, like paying a coach in that term. And, you know, it really changed the game for me because it was like, at first it was like, I'm flying blind. You know, I'm just kind of like, I'm going with what I'm doing with what I think is the right move. But it's like, in reality, you're kind of just aiming like all different directions. Like,
And what you mean by that, like as far as like with film, with the type of projects you was taking, or the type of like the direction you was taking your company?
yeah, so that's a good question. What I mean by that is like, I was building my business
Yeah.
and I was building my business blind. So in the sense of like, I was working on my website for a month, and then uh, I was doing sales, right, and putting quotations on that because I didn't even know what the hell sales were. I was just sending out random emails to people. I was sending out random DMs to people. There was no system. There was no structure. I didn't go to any networking events, and I was just expecting to get work. And I remember being pretty upset and like impatient with the whole business, like my business process, because I was expecting work to just come in because I had good work. Like, you know, coming out of college, like I had pretty decent work that if I showed someone my work, they'd be like, oh, this is like actually pretty good. Like, and people would like, they would talk to me and think that I was just already like busy, and I wasn't, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any sales process. I didn't have a business. I was just a random guy with a camera. I couldn't even consider myself a freelancer because I didn't even know anybody. Um, but the reason why I asked you that question is because I think if you want to accelerate your filmmaking career, when I say career, it could be if you want to be a business person or you want to be a freelancer, either way, having a mentor is literally the key to the, you know, it's the key to success for that.
So after working with a business coach, you feel like what was the after, because you told us about before. What was the after, like working with a business coach? What was that for you? Like,
Yeah.
what was the improvements you've seen?
So the first person, which was Justin, he helped me really open my eyes to the sales world and how important sales was in business. I always knew that it was like, you know, important, but like he showed it to me. He showed me why it was important, right? And he coached me through one of my deals. I was so scared to like close this deal because I didn't know, I didn't really want to follow up because I was like, I don't want to bother him. I didn't really want to pitch him because I was like, oh, I don't want to be like I don't want to be pushy on sales. But he showed me that sales has nothing to do with that. You know, it's about serving people, right?
That perspective change, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's what one of my coaches taught me as well. Was
exactly.
like it's not like you only want to do a deal where it's a win-win and where you can actually help that company. If you can't help them, you have to then either refer them to someone else or just don't take the deal, you know?
Right.
So just looking at sales is not like, okay, I'm selling something. No, this is what I need in order to produce this result for you,
Right.
you know? So
Yeah,
I
and
feel
just
you.
having like absolute conviction and confidence in what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't truly believe in what you're selling, I don't even want to say what you're selling. If you don't truly believe in what you're doing
The value of it.
and the value,
Because with videos and photos, you easily be like, oh, that's just photo. No, I know how you could use these photos
right?
to advertise events for the rest of the year.
Right.
From one event, I could cover this one event for you. And now you will have marketable images you could then use just for advertising for the rest of the year. Now, yeah, I may cover the event. It's not for you just to post the next day all of the photos and be like, hey, this is a recap of the event.
Right.
Nah, use it strategically.
Yeah.
You know, use it where it's like, okay, would be good for this type of ad. This would be good for this type of ad.
Right.
Okay, I could place this on the website for this kind of blog. You know, I could put it in this magazine or online outlet for this type of blog. You feel what I'm saying? It's really assets that you could use to basically market your message of like what you're trying to go for. So that's kind of like what I go in and understand when I'm capturing an image. I'm not just like trying to take a picture of just like people just looking at me. I'm trying to capture a vibe, an energy, so that way you then take this one event, with 1 day of event coverage, and use that for the rest of the year for your marketing campaign.
Right. And when you say it like that, I mean, who's not going to buy from you, right? But if you're just like, yeah, I'm going to take some really dope photos and you can post it on my Instagram, I mean, you're really selling yourself short at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you could do so much more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
anybody out there that's listening, like, over deliver, or over give the value, show the value, demonstrate the value.
So with collaboration, man, let's get back to collaboration.
Yeah, let's
bro.
talk about that.
When did you start like really seeing the importance of collaboration? And before you answer that question, I'm gonna tell you when I first found out the importance of collaboration. Right. I was event photography mainly. Right. One man soldier, always out there everywhere covering events. I started working with this lady named Joy Pearson from Atlanta. Never met her in person, only on the phone. You feel me? She connected with me through another guy I did a documentary for free, you know what I mean? And he was like, yo, I'm gonna connect you with this lady. Boom. She started booking me for jobs. And one day I was booked already for the job she wanted to book me for. I was like, I can't shoot.
You're booked?
I'm already booked on that day. She said, okay, well, send me another photographer. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm already booked. She's like, okay, so just send another photographer.
Right.
I pay you, you pay them. I said, I don't have another photographer. She's like, man, listen, man, go out there and find you another. That's crazy. You need to have a network of photographers.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's when I found somebody else in that same day to cover the event. When I wasn't there, we split the profit. You feel what I'm saying? Like I got the sell for you. We split. You know what I mean? We split the profit, whether it was 40-60 or 30-70 or 20-80. Hey, I'm getting paid with my homeboy. Yeah. And I'm not even there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first where I was like, okay, shit, I gotta start.
When was this?
This was 2014.
Okay. Yeah. Some time ago. Yeah. When was the first time that I realized collaboration was important? I can't say that I have a prominent story like that where somebody asked me to bring somebody else on. I didn't have anybody. But I will say that, so for me, collaborating came from a different need. When I graduated college, I didn't know anybody, right? I came from Orlando, so it was just different world. But I moved down south, and I really wanted to break into the whole, photography, Instagram game, video game. I wanted to do so many things, and I didn't know anybody. So what did I do? I just started reaching out on Instagram to other photographers and other creatives. And for me, it was a realization over a period of time. It wasn't like one moment. For me, it was like, so I reached out to this girl on Instagram because I saw she was taking photos like that had tropical vibes, and I was kind of going for that on my IG at the time. And I connected with her, and she actually knew someone at FAU that was looking for a videographer, and they wanted to shoot a e-commerce promo video. And because I reached out to her on IG and we were hanging out and working together and taking photos together, she recommended me to the e-commerce guy, which actually happened to be a pretty big name in the space, still is. So it was a pretty big deal. Of course, I wasn't getting paid like a ridiculous amount or anything like that, but it was kind of like my foot in the door, essentially. At that shoot is where I met EJ. EJ was the photographer of that shoot. I was a videographer. So this is like step by step by step. So I met the girl on IG, and I want to say like 4 or 5 months passed before I got that job. And at that job is where I met EJ, another good photographer. And after I met EJ, it wasn't until another maybe 4 or 5 months before he recommended me to Icon. That is when things started to really escalate, because at that point, I had a really solid network. I knew a photographer. I knew another videographer. I knew an Instagram influencer. And so my circle started to grow. And that's when I at that point, like that's when I really truly realized, holy crap, collaborating and networking is huge. Like I really need to expand this process. So, and I started working with Icon, and I mean, everything just went sky high from there because everything that Icon does was networking.
Yeah.
So I got to see it in real time. And then I was like, okay, this is the fucking, like, the secret sauce for me, at least, you know? So, yeah.
And that's how we connected.
And eventually we connected.
Yeah, from an event with Icon.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? In Arizona. And they ain't got grass in Arizona.
No.
You know,
Arizona's a desert.
ruined the movie for y'all Floridians.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to Arizona, you're gonna be like, what? Where am I? Am I on Mars right now? Like, no grass, nowhere. You can't find it nowhere.
No, yeah.
And if you do find grass, it's artificial.
Yep. Oh, you know what? They do have grass on the golf course.
Yeah. Okay.
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they save the grass at.
Yeah.
You know, but
there's actual cactuses too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a dope experience, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
I met you and I met Mitch. Yeah.
That's
right. And Justin.
And Justin as well.
Yeah. You feel me? So as soon as we got back from Arizona, we were just working together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Collaborating.
Yeah. We flew back. And it was funny because, like, for 3 weeks, I was looking for, like, a co-working space. I just couldn't find one anywhere near my area. And I met RJ. We came back. We were just chatting it up. And I just asked him, like, hey, so, like, you know, where do you guys work or what have you? And he told me about this place. Literally, I came in, signed up the next day.
Facts.
Yeah, literally.
Facts, bro. Yeah. That's what it is, man. And that's what like, just seeing that alone was like, okay, I've seen that before. You know, like for me, I've seen many people be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sign up and then don't show up. You gotta show up, and that's the thing. Like, you were showing up every day, showing up. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what it took. So like, it's like even when we don't link up, we already know that we still showing up. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's like not even like a second thought. Like, if you don't see me, you already know I'm showing up somewhere.
Yeah, I know you're out. I know you're outside. I know he's outside.
Outside, I'm outside for sure. For sure.
If Artie's not in the office, he's out shooting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Or at a meeting.
Yep.
Yeah. Those. I mean, that's it. Those are the three things that we should be doing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's another thing where I learned from having a business coach, right?
Right.
Like, he was like, look at the activities, like track what you do in a week, and look at and put all of the stuff that produces income in one area. Okay. And stuff that don't produce income, but you still gotta do this shit, but it don't produce income. And separate them and just see where you're spending your time. Like,
that's pretty deep.
Website was over here. I was like, dang, I spent a lot of time working on my website. I was supposed to be over here doing phone calls, doing meetings, doing networking, doing team building, you know, getting my offer down. Because a lot of times, even with us, because I learned this from us, but there's a lot of businesses that say they starting something, but you got to nail down your offer, who it's for. You know, nail that down. The better you can nail down your offer, it's easier. It's easier to pitch, and that's from like business coaches to B&I to all that. You know what I mean?
Right. I think one of the biggest things to take away is collaborating, networking. I mean, it's not easy putting yourself out there, right? We'll say what it is, but at the end of the day, you know, the more people that you know, the more people that know you, the more people know what you do. You know, it's just going to grow your network. What do you think is 2 things or 3 things or one thing that is like super vital for someone to like take away from this? Like when it comes in general, I guess when it comes to like building your creative production company.
Shit. I mean, what we've been pushing from the very beginning, which is collaboration. If you understand that you move and you've been around me any at all, you understand that we collaborate a lot, and we also share our resources. So we collaborate not in just like meeting up, but we also collaborate in breaking bread, hiring each other for different jobs, collaborating with brainstorming sessions, collaborating on shoots, like really doing that. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we're pushing. Like, that's what we've been doing.
Right.
So that's the main thing that you want to really, really take away from that. Because once you collaborate, then that enhances your communication skills. Because in order to do a production, you got to have a team. So you could do only so much by yourself. You know what I mean? The better that you learn how to work with a team and you could collaborate with somebody, now you could take on bigger projects, and now you could bid on bigger projects, which is like whether it's a 6-figure project, now you could properly bid on it because you know you have the manpower and the support to actually get this thing done.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So that's one of the main things you could take away. Or if it's a 2, it would be, business coach or
Right.
business coach.
Yeah,
That'd
huge.
be like probably the number one thing. I feel like if I would have got that early, that's better than No, I had to know where I was going. Film school was important. I had to know that I love film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So just knowing that you want to do film, just making that decision is like the most important. Then having a business coach fit that to help structure the business, you
Right.
feel me? Or get you in the right mind frame to get from the next step. That's
Right.
super, super vital. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's super true. I never thought about it like that. Like the fact that like going to film school like made you realize that like, oh, like I actually want to do this.
Yeah.
So many people. I went to film school with a lot of like, it was a pretty decent sized school, and I mean I can't count on my fingers how many filmmakers like came out of that school, out of my class.
Yeah. That's
A lot of them
actually
fell
working in
off.
film.
A lot of them fell off, and not because they didn't make it. I mean, some of them didn't make it, right? But they just realized it wasn't for them. A good friend of mine, I helped him pass his editing course because he didn't like editing. He didn't know how to edit, and on the day of the exam, I took it for him. And if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have graduated. He wouldn't have gotten his diploma.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I realized, damn, I thought everybody here was like super passionate about filmmaking. Everybody wants to be a director. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it was just like really surprising. Like, I'm like, wow, like there's people out here like spending like $80,000 on some like, degree that they may not want or want to pursue. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But that's it's part of growing, I guess. Part of growing, learning, and
Yeah, that's definitely something I've noticed that too. Even recently, I met somebody at Choose to Create, and he is like he's doing something in the arts, and I was like, what are you trying to do? Like, what are you trying to do? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, that's good too to keep seeking, having fun.
Yeah.
I create everything then, if that's the case, and find
Yeah.
something that I like. But when I went to film school, I went to school for audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Went for audio production. Then I took a video production course. And I was like, ooh, I like this. Like, as soon as I see my first short film on the big screen, I was like, not the big screen, but in the classroom.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is cool. And everybody loved it. It was like, oh, you did good.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think I like this.
Nice.
So
you pursued audio, like sound engineering, sound recording?
Yeah, sound engineering.
And then you jumped out of it and you went into film?
I initially went to film school for audio production. That was my intention.
Within movies or?
Engineering, like music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So audio engineer.
Audio engineering.
And then
and producing. That was like what my idea was.
Did you happen to just take a random film class?
Nah, I was open when I went to film school. When I knew it had a wide variety of like different types of arts, I wanted to take all of them.
Okay.
To figure out what I did, graphic design.
Okay.
All of the classes just to see.
That's pretty cool.
And then in that first semester, I took video in there too because I was interested about that too. Took some audio classes and mixed it up a little bit. That video class, I was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Because I could mix audio with the video. And with video, what I realized is that I was more or less good in like producing the video. You know what I mean? And that goes into like how I work now. It's like usually we do like majority of the conceptual work, come up with all the ideas, come up with the storyboard, do the selling of the project, all that, pitching the project, all that. You feel what I'm saying? But then when it comes to actually filming, that's when the collaboration really get. Even before filming, that's when we link up with a director, DP, like you. And then from there, we plan out the shots. We get on the same page with the shots, the flow of the day. And usually we have another cinematographer there to, usually it'll be like another a second AD on set. He'll also be doing camera operating, everything. You know what I mean? Because it's a small crew, whether it's like 3 or 4.
Right.
Go into editing after that, and that's kind of like the process.
Yeah.
But film school is what helped me, because that's what we did on that project. Basically, it was the same exact thing. Took me a while to understand that whole process. You feel what I'm saying? So like now I got it sequenced in a way where this is a video producer. That's what I do. That's what I am.
Yeah.
You know.
That's exactly right. I mean, knowing your strength, knowing where you swing, like do you swing towards this side, that side? Like, I was just listening to a book called 21 Irrefutable Laws of like Leadership. And I mean, this may be off topic, but I'm gonna say because I'm thinking about it. But it was talking about like when it comes to being a leader, it's like you have to so you have to figure out which way do you lean towards when it comes to the law of navigation. The law of navigation is what it is. It's what it sounds like. It's the law of you leading your team through a course, right? And the guy says, do you lean towards faith or do you lean more towards facts? And that was interesting because I was like, I think I lean towards faith. And the guy that was reading the book, he goes, well, I lean towards faith, which, means that I'm a visionary. You know what I mean? I see the big picture, right? Someone that leans towards facts is someone that can chart the course, which, what does that mean? They're very analytical. They look at the facts. They look at the data. They look at what can happen, what can't happen, right? So, I don't know. Do you lean towards faith or facts?
I lead towards faith that it will become facts.
Okay.
I
like that.
Yeah. I lean towards faith so much that it is a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even second guess it. Once I make that decision, that's what I'm rolling with, 100%, and it's already done.
Right.
That's how I see it in my mind, and I'm willing to put in the work and the time to make that happen.
Right.
Yeah.
The second part, I forgot to mention, the second part of that, what I was talking about, faith or fact, he says that if you're lean towards more of the faith side, then you should find someone that leans towards the opposite side, factual. I think this may correlate to like the visionary and the integrator, where it's like Steve Jobs was the visionary and then Wozniak was the integrator. So it's like big picture guy, execution guy, It's just it's an interesting thought because as an entrepreneur, you always think, well, I can do it all myself. Well, depending on who you are, right? I can do this, I can do that. I don't want to share my work with anyone because no one can do it the way I do it. But when you really start building your strategic partners, you start collaborating with people that have skills and assets that you don't naturally have. That is when you start producing the highest level of quality of work, whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Now, I've seen it with the videos we've produced over the last 2 years. I mean, we've done some good stuff now, but I've seen it get better.
Yeah.
As we progress and start working with a team, I can see that, okay, this is what a production looks like. You have those extra hands, also looking at the screen and enhancing the shot, making sure everything is right, making sure the background is right, small details. It's all details, you feel what I'm saying? So when you have like an actual cinematographer, like someone that's not just like a camera operator, like a cinematographer, and like everybody on our team are cinematographers. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They may be filling the role of a camera operator at the time, but the thing is, they have the eye of a cinematographer, and they've played that position before.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So that's another strength I say of like collaborating. You know what I mean? Because everybody kind of like rises together. You feel me?
What do you say to the person that is a freelancer right now,
Yeah.
but they want to become an entrepreneur? They don't know how to do it. What do you think is the steps that person needs to take?
Yeah, just collaborating, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first step is just you don't have to do all the work. You know, first step is like, okay, earn a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're doing, let's say photography, earn a event photography, and don't do the job. Do the job, but work with another photographer to do your job. Fire yourself from doing the actual work.
Fire yourself
Like
doing
so,
the actual work.
and pay somebody else to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So so say for instance, if I'm doing an event photography, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's times where I'm there, but a lot of times where I just basically hire another photographer to do exactly what I would be paying myself to do. You know what I mean? So if it's like a half a day shoot, I pay a photographer for a half a day shoot, the same price I would pay myself. You feel what I'm saying? And then that forced me to communicate with him and get him on the same page. You know what I mean?
Right.
And kind of facilitate that conversation so he gets on the same page on what I expect, what the story of the day is, like so he could shoot in that same kind of way. That's the first step and first really being able to do multiple jobs and people buying into your brand, not just like you.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? When it's just you, it's just when they hire you, they expect you to be there.
Right.
You know, when they hire Content Factory, it's like, okay, you know, like, do you know who's gonna be there? Is it gonna be you or another photographer? Da, da, da. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's awesome. I think the reason why I ask you this is because again, I feel like there's a lot of people that are freelancers, right? And they want to be entrepreneurs, or they want to grow a business, they don't know how, or they're just so used to, you may be used to just taking a job and filming it, editing it, delivering it all yourself, right? And I think that mentality comes from a scarce mentality, where it's like you don't want to share the deal, right? You don't want to give out any of your profits or whatever, and you just want to, you want all the work for yourself.
Yeah.
And look, don't get me wrong, that sounds nice, right?
A lot of us do that though. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's an artist thing. We be like, oh, I gotta make sure it comes out the way that I want it to come out.
That too, yeah. Right, you don't want to share any of their creativity with anybody.
Yeah.
Right, but I think that has to do with not trusting in the people you work with.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I bring you on set to take event photos, you better believe I'm gonna be over here like relaxing, because I know RJ is gonna crush it. You know what I'm saying? I trust you. I've seen your work. I've worked with you. So there's no doubts in my mind that you're not going to execute on the vision. But when you don't collaborate, you don't work with people, you just hire some dude off Thumbtack or whatever, then you're going to be a little nervous. You're going to be like, damn, is this guy going to execute? I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, that's 100%, man. But yeah, bro, Ary in the building.
That's what's up. This has been sick podcast. A lot of value in this one for sure.
Yeah, 100%, man. I know they're gonna definitely get something from this, and I hope y'all definitely just, you don't gotta listen to everything. Just grab something and run with it. It's just us talking about just filmmaking and our process, and that's it. Our process in making a finished product.
Facts.
So yeah. RJ Deed in the building with my brother.
Let's get it. Thanks for having me.
You already know, man. Appreciate you being here. Choose to Create podcast. Yo.